All right, now let's bring in our guests for the hour, Congressman Matt Gaetz and Lisa Booth, both great friends of this show. Congressman, I'll start with you. You just saw your colleague there, Andy Biggs. What's your take on what we were discussing?
Well, Andy Biggs is a great guest. He's my best friend in Congress. I'm not his best friend. It's just that I have far fewer friends than he does. You're right that Bill Kristol and John Bolton represent a vision of conservatism that would have us invade everywhere and invite everyone. I think that John Bolton has been in favor of 10 out of the last 3 wars and would probably start 4 more of them by lunchtime tomorrow if he could. He was largely a mascot in the Trump administration used to troll Iran. His advice was never taken, and so he was resentful. But it's important that President Trump's vision for putting our people and our country first, demanding that our allies pay their fair share, re-domesticating our manufacturing so that we are more resilient, that prevail in the message we're delivering. Because if you look at the vision from the radical left, they would lock you in your home, they would make your business illegal, then they would put an open for business sign at the border inviting MS-13 to move in next door while regular Americans are disarmed. So if we want safe streets and stable communities, if we want families that are able to be secure in their economic and physical future, then my suggestion is that we rally to this America First vision. It will prevail over the America Last views of Kristol and Bolton.
Matt, you know, that's why I describe Bill Kristol as shallow, because actually it is all about, they ignore all the points that, they don't want to talk about all the things that Lisa brought up because it doesn't help their case, because now they're siding with the Democrats. And when they criticize President Trump, it's mostly about things of style. It's totally superficial. They don't want to go to the policy argument, it seems to me, because they know they've already lost the policy argument in terms of where the vast majority of Republican voters are.
Yeah, they've lost the policy argument, and it appears to be quite the batch of losers when you look at their electoral success. These are consultants that do not have a win-loss record that anyone would particularly be envious of, and I think that's because it's a low-energy version of conservatism that they back. The president now has the best team I think he has ever had. People like Mark Meadows, Kayleigh McEnany, along with folks like Stephen Miller, who've done so well serving the administration through many years. And so now we must rally the Trump administration in our country to a strong defense of America, because what we see from this Marxist movement in Black Lives Matter to totally overturn our country, to make us hate our country and replace it with something else, is very dangerous. And I think that we will see a winner in this election through strength, through a candidate that can stand up and say that America is worth defending, worth preserving, and we are going to fight for her with all we have to make her stronger. President Trump's done that in the past. He'll do it in a second term.
Matt, from the Florida perspective, you're seeing the cases go up. You're seeing some of the reopening pull back there. I just want to draw a comparison, because again, this is all presented as it's through such a partisan lens. It's, oh, Ron DeSantis, what a disaster, Republican governor, like he's the only place in the world where this is happening. Let's just put this headline up from Germany. Germany is being praised everywhere as like having a model response and everything's great the way the Germans are handling. They are also pulling back their reopening. They've got a flare-up in cases, but the media here don't report that. I just think it's so ridiculous. Matt?
Sure, I would say that the positivity rate is in part a consequence of the strategic work we're doing in Florida to go into areas that are more likely to have high coronavirus. So if you're just sitting back and waiting for people to show up, you can maintain a low positivity rate, but then you're not on offense against the disease. And I don't think the media tells that story fairly. But let's acknowledge a simple truth. Young people who do not believe that coronavirus poses a serious risk of death or harm to them are very unlikely to socially distance for an extended period of time as a result of coronavirus. I wish that it was the case that we would have more exquisite hygiene, hand washing. I think those things are all very helpful, but the absolute radical approach to shutting things down hasn't worked really anywhere, and I don't suspect that will be the plan that we return to in Florida.
All right, Lisa Booth and Matt Gaetz are back with us. Twitter, big tech, censorship, all of that. Matt, what do you make of it? What should we do about it?
Big tech is censoring conservatives. They intend to steal this election from the voters and from Donald Trump. and we should not let them. It's why I'm so disappointed and surprised that recently Nikki Haley came out essentially toting the note for big tech, saying that it would be against the interests of the First Amendment to have enforcement action and regulatory action. Well, to me, that's loser talk. We ought to vindicate the First Amendment rights of all Americans, and the way to do that is to treat them like common carriers, revoke Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, and then have the Department of Justice bring antitrust actions against Twitter and other technology platforms that are using their market power to try to define the scope of debate in this country. It is absolutely un-American, and we need a response from our government that is stronger than the response that we got from former Ambassador Haley.
Lisa?
Well, I also think competition's good, and you see, things like Parler popping up to be an alternative to Twitter. So I think competition is healthy as well, when Republicans sort of setting up counter institutions and organizations is maybe the path to go down as well. But, look, if President Trump didn't have Twitter, how would he communicate with the public? When you look at the fact that the vast majority of the media is negative, it's skewed, it's basically, there's not a lot of daylight between the media and the Democratic Party these days. And that is why you see Democrats and you see, the Twitter giants trying to shut President Trump down, even if it's just tweet by tweet, because of that very reason. The fact that he has almost 83 million people that follow him on Twitter that he can have an unfiltered access to and circumvent the media. So that is why Democrats have been so hell-bent on trying to shut down his social media handles. And it's not just that. We've even seen CNN last year wouldn't run one of his ads about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, even though it was factually correct regarding Ukraine and Burisma. So they're trying to shut him down. And, it's scary. It's unhealthy, I think.
But Steve, I totally agree with you about the competition point. Yeah, go on, Matt. Yeah, go for it.
Sure. Lisa mentioned unfiltered access, and she's right. That's the strength of the president's communication style on Twitter. But unfortunately, that access is no longer unfiltered. When Twitter is able to suppress the content not only of the president but his allies, when Twitter is able to remove investigative reporters like Raheem Kassam or meme artists like Carpe Donktum, they suppress the echo chamber that allows our movement to have the energy to grow and invite people in. And so it's no longer unfiltered access. And if we just sit back and sort of hope that competition emerges, I fear that we'll be too late. We had the element of surprise in 2016. They did not think Donald Trump would win. We have lost the element of surprise. We need to use the government to take action against Twitter and other digital platforms that are not fair.
Yeah, I've always said, by the way, just to sort of wrap it up, that actually we shouldn't be afraid of regulation if it's to enforce competition or if it's to deal with abuses of the marketplace. That's a perfectly reasonable use of regulation. Just quickly, Matt, are you on I didn't know you said Parler, actually. I want to know how to pronounce it, so Lisa's cleared that up. But are you on that? Did you set up an account there?
I'm on Parler. I'm ready to serve out my parlays. I hope everyone will follow us, but we shouldn't decamp from Twitter. It's important that we stay engaged in every platform. Absolutely.
Yeah. Got to have both. All right.
And at Lisa Reboot on Twitter and Parler. You can follow me.
Very good. Yeah, importantly on both.
President Trump won't be running to keep America great. He'll largely be running to keep America America. Because on the left, you have a vision for this country that bears no resemblance to the type of society that we've developed that is the greatest in all of human history. And so I think an enthusiastic, unapologetic embrace of Americanism is what will lead this president to victory. And I think we have to take action beyond just investigations into these people that are destroying our statues and monuments. I think there need to be actual consequences for those folks that will deliver the type of leadership that I think Lisa and many other Americans are craving from this president in this time of great calamity.